This was supposed to be India's day, their day to dominate with the bat. But instead, what we got was a catastrophic, almost unbelievable collapse against South Africa. But the real story here, it isn't on the scorecard. We're going to go way beyond the runs and the wickets to really uncover the psychological demons that just dismantled an entire team basically from the inside out. So how do we piece all this together? Well, we're going to start with one kind of bizarre moment that really reveals the team's desperate state of mind. Then we'll look at the brutal numbers of the collapse, pinpoint the captain's gamble that completely backfired, see how one bowler delivered the final blows, and ultimately we're going to ask, was the real battle ever even on the pitch at all? To really get a handle on just how deep the panic had set in for India, we're not starting at the beginning of the collapse. No, we're starting with one strange little interaction late in the day that tells you everything, and I mean everything, you need to know. Think about that for a second. The rule reversal here is just wild. You have a tail-end batsman, right, whose job is normally to be protected, and he's trying to shield another tail-ender. It's such a clear signal that the team had totally abandoned any hope of scoring. Their whole mindset had shifted to just pure, desperate surviving. And this quote from Crickbuzz just absolutely nails it. The situation was tragic, right? Because India was in this completely unwinnable position. But it was also kind of comical in its absurdity. This one moment perfectly summed up the messy, panicked approach that had just defined the entire session for India. Okay, so that one moment was a symptom of a much, much larger problem. Now, let's zoom out and look at the full scale of the disaster, because trust me, the numbers here tell a really brutal story. So India starts the day looking great. They're in a position of complete control, looking solid at 65 for no loss. But just look how fast everything unraveled. The slide from slipping to total collapse, it happened in the blink of an eye. This wasn't some gradual decline, it was a total free fall. And here it is, the heart of the crisis in two simple numbers. 6 wickets for just 27 runs. That's the entire middle order just gone. This wasn't just a bad spell of cricket. This was the moment that arguably cost them the entire test match. It's a fair question, right? And the answer isn't about just one bad shot. It's about one pivotal moment, a really high-stakes psychological battle between the two captains that just set all the dominoes falling. So, the turning point of this whole innings wasn't a simple mistake. No, it was a collision of two opposing forces, a rigid, aggressive ideology on one side versus the cold, hard reality of the game on the other. So on one side, you've got the Indian captain, Rishabh Pant. His entire career has been built on this mantra of hitting back, being aggressive. It's what's made him a match winner. But on the other side, you have the reality of the game. 3 quick wickets had just fallen, and the team was just hemorrhaging momentum. They needed stability, not fireworks. And here's exactly how it played out. The South African captain, Temba Bavuma, he saw an opportunity. After a bouncer, he moves a fielder into this aggressive close-in position, basically daring Pant, right? Challenging his ego. And what does Pant do? He takes the bait. He charges down the wicket to the very next ball, swings wildly, and gets out. It was a perfectly laid trap, and he walked right into it. And this is really what it all boils down to. By sticking to his aggressive ideology, no matter what the situation was, Pant didn't just lose his own wicket. He handed all the momentum, all the encouragement to the opposition's best bowler on a silver platter. So, with the captain gone and the batting lineup just reeling, the South African pacer Marco Jansen was given this wide-open door, and he didn't just walk through it. He charged through it, using one specific, devastatingly effective weapon. So the ball wasn't really swinging much, so Jansen adapted his plan. He realized that the pitch had plenty of pace and bounce, which made the short ball his most potent weapon. It was just a smart, tactical adjustment to the conditions he was facing. And his efficiency? It was just ruthless. Just look at this chart. Every single one of his 6 wickets came from that same hostile short-pitch strategy. India's batsmen were just peppered with it, and one by one, they all fell. They had absolutely no answer. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Jansen himself confirmed the whole strategy after the day's play. It wasn't some secret, magical plan. It was just a clear exploitation of the conditions, a plan that India's batsmen walked right into time and time again. So this all raises a really key question. Was the pitch simply unplayable, or was something else going on? And ironically, the answer comes from the 2 players you'd least expect to provide it. In such a stark contrast to all that chaos, the final 2 batsmen, Sundar and Kuldeep, they just dug in. Their partnership lasted for over 200 deliveries. See, they weren't trying to hit their way out of trouble, they were focused on survival. Kuldeep faced 134 balls for just 19 runs. They proved that with patience and a completely different mindset, the bowling was entirely manageable.
And this quote right here is the final piece of the puzzle. It's from Washington Sundar, a player who successfully navigated the very same conditions that absolutely destroyed the top order. He confirms it. The pitch was not the problem. The demons weren't in the turf.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty much unavoidable conclusion. The collapse wasn't triggered by an unplayable pitch or some magical spell of bowling. It was triggered by poor decisions, a rigid mindsets, and just collective panic. The demons, it seems, were firmly in the mind.